Hello, thank you for stopping by. My name is Becky and this is BecxReadz, and today I have another recommendation collab for you. Today I am collaborating with Tara at Tara Talks Books, and we are going to bring you recommendations for books featuring great animal companions. We're hoping that my animal companion will make an appearance. She usually tries to in videos and I don't ever want her to. So now that I want her to, chances are she won't. But if that doesn't happen, I have my little animal companion right here as well. This is my little baby girl who passed away a few years ago, so she's going to be in the background today. First up, I am going to share with you a quintessential animal companion book, and that is Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. This is about Fern, and Fern is growing up on a farm, and she saves this baby pig, who she names Wilbur, from being slaughtered, and she raises him up, but then she has to get rid of him. And so she sends him to her uncle's farm where she can still be part of his life, but there he encounters another animal companion who is Charlotte, the spider. This is one of my all-time favorite children's books. It's one of my all-time favorite classics because I don't read classics, and anytime somebody says, "What's your favorite classic?" I always say Charlotte's Web, because to me, this is a classic. The other middle grade I have to share is the Cassidy Blake series by V.E. Schwab, or Victoria Schwab, whichever. This is about Cassidy, who is a young girl who is traveling with her parents, who have this paranormal investigation documentary series that they travel the world and document the ghosts and hauntings of different places. Where her parents are investigating it, they don't really believe in what they're investigating, but Cassidy has a secret. She can actually see the ghosts and communicate with them. In each book, you're traveling to different cities. You go from Edinburgh to Paris to New Orleans, and you follow Cassidy and her adventures. She is also joined by her friend Jacob, who is a ghost, and her cat Grim, who acts as sort of like a lookout, so to speak. He will act up and he will let her know when things are amiss that she hasn't caught on to yet. They have a really cute relationship, and he's just a black cat, so how could you not love that? The last middle grade I have to share with you is Solimar, the Sword of the Monarchs. This is a very cute Disney princess type story about Solimar, who finds herself in possession of this cloak that houses these monarch butterflies. And when she puts on this cloak, she is able to tell people what's going to happen in the future. And one day, her father and her brother have left the country, and this neighboring king invades, and he wants to take that cloak from Solimar. So she has to escape with the help of her friends as well as her animal companion Lazaro, who is a little bird who she can communicate with, and they have to go on this journey to try and reach her father to warn him that another country has invaded their territory, all while trying to protect these butterflies. So she sort of has these butterflies and this bird named Lazaro. I didn't realize when I first read this, I said it was very Disney-esque, and that's because it's a Disney book. So that makes sense. Wild Magic by Tamora Pierce. This is about an orphaned girl named Dane who has this ability to not only communicate with animals, but also to influence them and tell them what to do. She can also later in the series become animals. And so in the first book, we see her end up in a situation where she's given a job to be one of the queen's riders to take care of the horses in her care. And there she ends up meeting this master sorcerer named Numar, and he takes her under her wing to really help her develop her powers. And along the way, she encounters many animals, but the two that are her constant animal companions are horse Cloud, who sort of acts as a tether to her real world. When she goes into her deep meditation and communicates with the animals, she has the chance of losing herself. Cloud is sort of there to nip her and bring her back to her body so that she doesn't get stuck. She is also the adoptive mother of a dragon named Sky Song, who she nicknames Kitten, and she is trying to protect her from people who are trying to kill her. So lots of animal companions in this, but the two that are constant are Cloud and Sky Song. And I absolutely loved this series, not so much the last book, but overall this series is a really great young adult series that I feel like has stood the test of time. The Paper Magician series by Charlie Ann Holmberg. This is a historic inspired fantasy romance, a very light on the spice, But this is about Sienny, who has just graduated, and she is given the task of being a paper magician. She's not very excited about that because she doesn't really think there's much she can do with paper. But she is sent to the master magician, Emery's house, where he can help her understand what being a paper magician entails and really help her develop that ability. And while she is there, Emery ends up creating an animal companion for Sienny in the form of Fennel, who is a little paper dog. So stinking cute. And in the first book, Sienny has to travel through Emery's literal heart because something happens to him, and she has to go through his heart to try and save his life. And Fennel is there as a companion to sort of just be there to support her and guide her, and he has the ability to be compacted up so that he can travel with Sienny, and it is so stinking cute. I absolutely loved their relationship, and I loved this series. Next up is Beneath the Starlit Sea. This is a adult fantasy romance about Elise, who is a sorceress, and she just wants to mind her own business, but she is captured by the king's guards one day and taken to the kingdom's capital, where she is put into chains and forced to work with this human doctor to try and discover what is killing the humans in this kingdom. So she is pretty much stripped of her powers except for her animal companion, who happens to be a fox named Theory, spelled like this. Not sure how you pronounce it. But he is essentially her animal familiar. He will be there to tell her when something is afoot that she needs to pay attention to. Day 0. So this is a sci-fi in which in the future, children are given these nanny bots that are in the form of an animal, and they are pretty much there to be the child's nanny. And our two main characters, Ezra, who is the human, and Pounce, who is a tiger nanny bot, he's sort of reached his expiration date. The family really doesn't think Ezra needs Pounce anymore, but one day the rest of the robots decide that they're going to kill humanity. So that's what they set out to do. But Pounce is a first generation nanny bot, and so he really has it ingrained in him that his purpose is to protect his child, who is Ezra. So he sets out to keep Ezra safe, to help him try and find where these other humans are living to get him to safety. So he is actually acting against his fellow robots to protect this human boy. This was such a cute, heartwarming story. I listened to the audiobook and I thought the audio was really well narrated, and I thought it was just a breath of fresh air. I hadn't read a dystopian in quite a while, so this just... it reminded me why I like dystopians, but it was a really well done dystopia. The next recommendation I have for you is one of my favorite books, and it is A Nameless Witch by Ailey Martinez. So this is about a witch who has no name, and when her mentor is murdered, she sets out on this quest for revenge to track down the person who killed her mentor and kill them. And she does this with the help of her sentient broom, her gnome friend, a white knight that she picks up along the way, and her animal companion, who is a demon duck named Newt. He is literally a demon trapped in the body of a duck, and he is her animal familiar, and it is fucking hilarious. The next one I have to share with you is a sci-fi romance, and that is My Pumpkin by Marina Simcoe. This is a weird story. This is about Cassie, who when she is younger, she takes this pumpkin from the pumpkin patch and takes it home with her, and it hatches this dog-like creature with like 3 tails, and it looks weird, but she loves it. So they grow up together, and then when Cassie is older, they're out in the park one day, and she ends up getting kidnapped by these aliens. And so this dog-like creature, who she's called Pumpkin, he goes after her. And when they're on the ship, Pumpkin turns into a man named Max. And he tells her that he's been there the whole time. He's just, you know, been in the form of this dog-esque creature for most of the time. But now that he's a man, he and Cassie find this attraction with one another. So it's weird. It's got some like cyborg shifter twists to it, but he definitely was her animal companion at one point. And the last one I have to recommend to you is an adult fantasy romance, and that is Autumn of the Grimoire. So in this, we follow these sisters who are witches. They're sister solstices, and each one is sort of in charge of a different season. And in this one, we follow the Autumn witch, Agatha. And she is told by her grimoire that she is prophesied to go and marry this prince. And they are meant to bridge the gap between worlds. She really doesn't want to do this because every time the grimoire has told her to do something, it has ended in destruction. But she has no choice, so she has to do this. But her bat familiar named Mabon accompanies her. And he is there just to be a source of comfort for her. And like most familiars, he will warn her when something is afoot. But it's a bat. It's a bat familiar, which I thought was really, really cool. I tried to make this list varied of different animals, and I don't think I had two that were similar. I had a bat, a duck, a tiger, a dog. I guess my pumpkin, he was sort of a dog. Sort of. I had a horse and a dragon, a cat, a pig and a spider, a fox, and another bird, I guess. So hopefully you found one that intrigues you that you would like to read. So let me know down in the comments what book has your favorite animal companion in it. And if you don't feel like commenting that but want to let me know that you made it to the end of this video, could you leave me a fox emoji? Is there a fox emoji? If there's not, just any animal in general. Be sure to check out Tara's recommendations linked down below. So until my next video, thank you so much for watching, and go read a book with an animal companion in it. Bye!